Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Invest in themes with Saxo. My name is Jakob Falkenkrone, and I am headed in Copenhagen, and I am our global head of investment strategy at Saxo. And I am also having Koen with me today from the team. Hi, Koen.
Hello, I'm situated in Antwerp, in Belgium, joining in.
And today, as the invite says, as the headline says, we will go through our new thematic universe in Saxo. And what we will go through today is also just a few words on the current market situation. That is not what it's supposed to we're supposed to talk about today, but given the volatility we have out there, we just spend 1 minute on it. For those who are interested in a more closer deep dive in the current market situation, we will have another webinar tomorrow at 1, I think, where I will go through the current market situation and what to look out for as investors. So today we will try to focus primarily on the thematic universe. We will introduce thematic investing, why thematic investing is popular, what we offer, and then we'll have a deep dive into some of the different themes we'll have on the agenda. I will also just say before we start a little bit of a disclaimer that everything we say today is just purely inspiration and for informational say content only. This is not investment advice or recommendation in any so, and historical performance no guarantee of future returns and so on. So everything we say today is just information for you to to take into to consideration, and then you should conduct your own research and look into your own stuff before making any analysis. So let's get started. Um, as you can see on my screen, I just took a screenshot on my Bloomberg this morning, showing how red everything looked like, and the reason for that is, of course, the guy we have on the left side here, and his what has been named in the media as his chart of death, or say all of these tariffs that Trump announced on April 2nd last week, or what he has been calling Liberation Day. I don't think markets, given the reds we see here, and given all the say plunges we have seen and collapses almost in equity markets, feel quite liberated right now, more liquidated maybe. So there is a lot of uncertainty right now, and by the hour we get new headlines out every day. I just saw a headline now that China is retaliating to the U.S. with raising tariffs. So everything is evolving as we speak, and that's also why our say number one recommendation at the moment, or number one pieces of advice to customers or investors is to stay calm, because everything is so uncertain right now that is kind of shooting from the hip or shooting in the dark if you start to go out and make very big changes in your portfolio. So the best strategy is to stay calm and remember to diversify your portfolio. That's a good thing. We're talking about themes today. That's a good way to diversify your portfolio. Normally, in situations like this, we say that you should seek towards defensive sectors or quality sectors. What we have seen is that most sectors are actually hit at the moment. So what we think is defensive might not be defensive anymore, or at least at the moment. We have also seen that some of the safe havens, as we call it, something like U.S. treasuries and stuff, have actually also lost. So there is a lot of uncertainty out there. I will say, I don't think this will last, I mean, months or more, because the level of tariffs is simply unsustainable in the long run, also to the U.S., because I mean, it's in the end, it's the U.S. Consumers who are also paying the price right now. And if we are talking about moving iPhone productions back to the U.S., or not back, but to the U.S., we are talking about iPhones of costing like $3,000, and no one will be able to pay that. So there is a lot of uncertainty right now. But as I just said, I mean, the number one priority right now is to stay calm and diversify, and then you can say, I mean, seek quality and look for some of the opportunities in high quality companies or sectors, or some industries that you have been thinking about, and then you can maybe, if you have a long term strategy, then start gradually building up your portfolio. But enough said about Trump and his chart of death. Let's go back to the subject of today, and talk about thematic investing, and why themes are actually very exciting. Because it is a, you can say, investment approach that is growing in popularity among the world. So in thematic investing is like an approach that focuses on big themes or big picture trends in the world. So rather than focusing on specific industries or countries or companies alone, you can say you buy into some kind of more global trends, or trend themes we see in the world. That could be some kind of idea, a particular story about the future. It could be something about like technology. So instead of investing in technology or healthcare, it could be, for example, something about the rise of intelligence, artificial intelligence. It could also be something about innovative healthcare, about how the demographic changes we see in the society will create some kind of exciting investment opportunities in the long run. So this is about, you say, ideas, values, and trends that that goes across traditional industry and sector classifications. So it's a good way to invest in kind of some of these evolving trends that we see in the world, and some of the future trends that will drive tomorrow. And I put a little a analogy in the corner here, so saying that, if you can say, traditional investing is like selecting different books from its say genre. So you have some tech, you have finance, you have healthcare. Then thematic investing is more like selecting different chapters from different books that all share the same storyline. So you're picking stocks from different sectors, but they all have the same narrative or the same trend, and that's why you can kind of invest in tomorrow. And as I also said, I mean, this is something that is growing very fast in the market. And I think if you look into something like flows or assets listed in the US, for example, over the last 10 years, thematics has tenfolded in 10 years. So there is a lot of interest into this, because it's a good way to invest in, say, the winners of tomorrow. So why should you at all consider investing into this? I've already said a bit, but you can say thematic investing is say gaining this popularity for good reasons, because there's clear you say win-win for a lot of investors. So one of the good things is, of course, that by going into this theme universe, you are able to catch some of the growth opportunities early. So if you invest in emerging themes, you get early exposure to some of those transformative trends that will shape the future going forward. For example, if you back in the days invested into the internet or the smartphones or something like that, that's kind of the idea here. So you kind of position yourself ahead of the curve. That could be one way to play it. So yeah, as I said, it's about finding the winners of tomorrow. There's also quite good risk management, diversification aspect into this. I also talked a bit about it, but as I said, I mean, when investing into some of these themes, you go beyond the traditional sector diversification. So if we go into a theme, it often cuts across multiple sectors, industries, regions, and also different layers in the supply chain of some things. So it can kind of add another layer of diversification to your portfolio. So if we take electric vehicles, for example, it's not only selecting the car makers in a theme like this, it's also including some of the battery producers, maybe some of the mining companies that creates the lithium that is going into the batteries. It could also be some of the software companies who are actually making the software for self-driving technology and so on and so forth. So these companies span across multiple industries and different parts of the supply chain. So when investing into some of these themes, you are kind of, say, not putting all of your eggs into one basket. And if you want to invest into now again electric vehicles, I mean, if you have some kind of idea, I think electric vehicles is a growing trend that will gain popularity in the future, something that shapes the society or the way we live. Then instead of selecting maybe Tesla or BYD or Volkswagen to say, okay, who will win this race, you can kind of buy the whole theme. And as I said, buy the whole supply chain as well, or components of the supply chain, such that you gain relevant exposure to this. Then the next point here about alignment with personal values is also quite interesting for a lot of investors. And that's something we hear from many people, that it's this ability to align your investments with also your personal passions or values. So you can kind of put your money where your interests are or values are. So if you are passionate about the environment, you might invest in themes such as clean energy, responsible themes, or more like ESG related things. Maybe you love tech, as we've also talked about, then you can maybe invest into AI or robotics or something like that. So it's kind of more relatable for a lot of investors and more engaging. And you can say it's much more motivating to know why you're actually invested into something. So saying, I invest in this renewable energy theme because I believe that solar and wind power is the way that we will get power in the future, instead of just saying, I'm investing in an energy ETF. So there you kind of put some value in it, and that kind of emotional connection to your or value connection to your investments, it's also easier in the long run to stay committed to your investments and stay committed to your portfolio and your plan. Something that we see a lot of investors these days have a hard time doing because they see that the values of their custody accounts drop quite significantly at the moment. So maybe if you have some kind of connection to your investments and believe in a longer term theme, then it's easier to actually remember that when things is tough as we see it in the moment. We also, of course, have some potential for attractive long-term returns. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we invest, right? So many of these themes are related to some of these say high growth areas of economy. You can have like things like 5G technology, biotech, fintech, something like that. That could be one thing. We can also have more like defensive baskets, saying dividend growth stocks or high quality stocks. That is also kind of um, uh, attractive, especially in a market like today, to find some companies who pays an attractive dividend, even though we see some volatility. So there's a lot of different ways to secure some attractive attractive long run returns. Sorry about that. And then of course in the end, I mean, combining all of this together, some combining your passions with your profits, that's just, I mean, a good way to invest. So whether it's into green energy or tech or healthcare, you are actually supporting some of those company that maybe is driving this progress. So it's also a way to you can be an active investor, saying, I want to not only the way I shop when I do groceries or something else, I can also buy a EV, but I can also, I mean, support that sector, support that, you can say, with a purpose, um, such that you can put your savings into play as well. And that's actually something that a lot of investors as well find quite motivating, to be able to utilize the power of your money or the power of your savings in order to drive some change in the world. So yeah, there's a lot of good reasons for why we should actually invest into some of these themes. If we then look into some of the themes we are offering at Saxo, we have these 20 themes, so that's quite a lot. I try to group them into different, say, categories here, or overall groups. So we have something that is linked to technology and innovation. That is, of course, something like AI, it's robotics, automation, digitalization. We also have something about cybersecurity, and then we have I put crypto and blockchain into that as well. Kuhn can probably speak a little bit more about those. But then we have something like mobility and clean tech. That would be the electric vehicles I talked about. That could also be clean energy. Then we have something I call healthcare and demographics. So that's a big pharma, or some of the big Medicare companies. It could also be healthcare innovation. That's more like the innovative way of or say of the healthcare space. So capturing some of these societal trends, and also putting in some tech into healthcare. That's quite of a big area that is growing significantly. We also have emerging market growth put into that, because it's kind of the change of demographics that emerging market is growing. We see a stronger consumer base in emerging markets that is also driving a lot of opportunities. Then there is one called consumer income. So that would be luxury, for example, luxury goods, LVMH, Hermès, some of those big names. That's also a driving theme. And then, as I talked about, we have this one that's called dividend growth, which is, you can say, prime example of one of those that is gaining a lot of popularity at the moment, because you can see traditionally, historically speaking, some of these high-paying dividend companies with strong balance sheets and like a strong capital position. Those are traditionally and have been traditionally been some of the most stable companies within times like this, where uncertainty and volatility is high. If you go to the next one, then we have something we could label as commodity themes. So that could be like precious metals, something that we talk a lot about these days. Actually, um, one of the only should say asset classes that has performed well during this market volatility is of course gold. We have energy transition materials. That is something like all of those metals that are very important and fundamental in the whole green transition. So all of those materials there, and metals, oil and gas, agriculture, construction. And then we have also ESG, women in leadership and green transition. And then in the end, we have the defense. I will show in a minute how it looks in the platform as well, and how we can navigate in there. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of different themes, and there's a lot of different angles to play this. And if we then dive a little bit deeper in how we then have selected all of these companies, because all of these different uh, themes or thematics that I just showed, they have 8 to 10 different single line stocks in them. And how have we come up with that? First of all, I mean, say, what is the process? We have an investment strategy team here at Saxo, and we look at what are the, say, long-term secular trends in the society that will probably drive that will shape the future. Some of the big shifts we see in technology and society and the environment. So we do a lot of research into that, and we come up with that, and that's why that's how we came to those 20 different themes here. And then we say create some kind of investment thesis for all of those. The next phase, you can say, is of course screening for relevant companies within those different themes. So we start out wide, And then we, of course, so for example, look at something as the revenue exposure. So how linked is a company to a some kind of theme? How much of its revenue are actually related to this theme? It could be an electric vehicle theme. I mean, how much is this car company maybe actually selling in EVs? How dedicated is it? We could also have some kind of battery maker that gets 50% of its sales from EV, for example. And then we could, of course, maybe exclude some company if they only do traditional combustion engine cars, so that they wouldn't fit into this. There is also a, you can say, qualitative assessment into this, because sometimes we can only look into the revenue exposure. We also have some kind of there is also some emerging companies with like a big growth potential. It could be someone who are actively trying to position themselves into this theme. It could be something who have a market position, a management's view, or a strong R&D focus, or something like that, where we see that there is a big, say, strategic relevance into this theme. And there we have, you could say, combine this quantitative and qualitative relevance view, such that we make sure that we cover the full perspective here. And then in the end, we of course select the final number of stocks in each basket. As I said, that's 8 to 10 different. Most of them are 8 at the moment. It could grow to 10, all of them. But right now they are 8 and they're equally rated. But the way we then select them, as I also alluded to a little bit earlier, is that we want to have different types of companies. We want different regional exposures. We want different supply chain exposures, so that we not only have 8 different EV makers, but maybe someone who is making some software, someone who is making the batteries. It could also be within the defense theme. Right now we have different defense companies, both from Europe, from US, from the UK, from Sweden, instead of only having very few from a very small market. And that's kind of the way we make sure that each of these themes are actually diversified, as we talked about, because I mean it can be a risky way to invest if you only like take a very small fraction of the market. So say only uh, battery makers in Asia, that then you are very exposed. So that's why we try to make a broad, to say, assessment of the overall exposure in this thematic basket. And then of course in the end I put the annual review. Um, so um, so we are reviewing this on an ongoing basis, and making updates as market evolves. So we could make changes, of course, to all of the different baskets, and we could also make changes to the themes going forward. We are doing that on a review, say, basis. So if we try to deep dive how it look, I will just try to find another screen here. Hope you can see my screen. Seems like. So now I'm at the Saxo Investor platform here, at a demo account. So if I want to go into the themes, I will go to the Discover page. Then I will scroll down, and then we have investment themes. So there you can click on all of them. You can also click in, see all, and then you get this overview. And you can find all of the different investment themes that I just showed you as well in the other. And you can see, just get the overview. You can also, if this is too much, you can go to the list view. Here you can see a list, and then you can see all of the different 1 week, 1 day, 1 month, 3 months, year to date, 1 year, 5 year a performance of each of the themes. And as we talked about in the beginning, it's not really nice reading at the moment, a lot of reds, but as we also talked about, you can see some differences in the year to date. Something like precious metals is holding up quite good. We also have some emerging market. Defense obviously has been one of the most say popular trades this year, especially the European defense companies. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of different different themes here, and there you can click into all of them and go through. As I just talked about, I mean, we can click through some of them. We have this one that I call the dividend growth. As I said, it's one of the say most popular trades at the moment, you can say, to look for high quality companies, because some of those companies who pay high dividends, they are usually some of those companies who have very strong balance sheets and also very stable, you can say, a business structure and a very business so such that they are able to a strong cash flow, so they are able to pay out all of these dividends that gives some kind of stable income to its investors. So those are some of the most sought after companies at the moment. And if you look into what are the different companies, something like Walgreens, Verizon, Toronto, T. Rowe Price. So there's different companies from different um, sectors and different regions, as I said. And then you can also go in here and read about what is the opportunities in this market, what is the risks, what are the risks, and so on and so forth. You can also go in here and read about this selection methodology that I talked a little bit about more in detail. For each of these themes, we also have a benchmark here. And for now, we have selected the MSCI World Core Index as the benchmark. And that's simply because we want the same. First of all, we want the same benchmark across all of the themes. And secondly, we want to have like what is, you can say, what is the investor's alternative in this space. And that is best represented by MSCI World, the MSCI World Index. And you can click through some of these different periods and see how this has performed. So yes, there is a lot of different themes in there, 20 as I said, that you can go in and read about. I can also just show it briefly on the TraderGo platform. Now I'm in this. I can be looking into BYD as I talked about before. And you can go to the research tab. Either you can click themes directly here. You can find all of the different themes, see the overview. You can also, when you are into this inspirational tab, you can also just scroll down and find the investment themes there as well, and go in. And every time we, for example, have something about any of these, that could be defense, then there will be, if we do related content, it will show up down here. So we have something about Rheinmetall, we have something about defense stocks, and so on and so forth. We will try to link all the related content here. But as I said about themes, the defense theme has also been one of the most interesting and popular trades this year. Some of these major names has of course made huge returns, as you can see on the 1 year horizon here. And that is of course driven by the demand for military equipment and defense equipment in Europe significantly. So yeah, there is a lot of different things. There's a lot of things to look into. I don't know if you have something to add, Koen, if you want to deep dive
Well,
into some of these.
no, actually, you're explaining it very, very well. You've explained everything that needs to be explained. The only thing I would like to add is that at the moment, those are not funds, because I've seen a question appear where can that person find more information about those funds? Actually, those are not funds. Those are really, at the moment, really thematic lists showing the companies that we've selected. In the future, we will have tradable products, but as of now, those are not funds yet. That's only my 2 cents. What else is there to be said? If maybe you can share a screen again, Jacob, is that how can you actually trade them? Is once you're in a thematic list, you can actually add the complete theme instruments by clicking on star over there, and there you have the choice to whether you add the full theme to an existing watch list or to a new watch list. Or you can click on each and every entry in the list, which will then show you the specifics, and where you can once again add them to favorites, trade them, and maybe see derivative products if they are available for that product. For the rest, I think, Jacob, you explained everything quite thorough, so I don't have much to add. Maybe we can switch to some questions, or did you have other points to cover?
No, I don't have more to comment. I think, yeah, as you said, it's. I can just go back to the investor platform for those who use that, but it's the same. You can also add themes to watch lists, do the same, and look into the different companies here and see all of the information that you should be able to find. So either you can add the whole list, or you can select. So it's also a good way to, if you don't want to buy the whole entire basket, you can of course use this as an inspiration to say, I have a portfolio that needs some kind of exposure toward a theme, and then you could go in and see what kind of companies do we have in each theme, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that was all I also had there. Let's go to the questions to see if there is something. I think we have covered a lot of the questions already, but maybe there are some questions. Yeah, there was some questions about the ETFs. You already talked about that. Yeah, and there's something about the stocks you can buy separately. So I actually think we covered most of the major questions we have here. So yes, unless there is more, then I think we are done for now. I just want to flag one more time that if you are interested in hearing a little bit more about what's going on in the market, we didn't cover that so much today. We have a webinar tomorrow where I'll try to dive a little bit deeper into what's going on in the market. And as I also said, I mean, things are evolving by the hour, so it might be different tomorrow than what we would talk about today. But that's how the world is right now. Having said that, I think it's important that you keep a long-term focus. And as also said when we went through why themes are a good idea, um, themes are thematic investing is a good way to engage with your investments, and is a good way to make sure that you have the long-term view and also stay engaged with those. So hopefully. Yeah, you can find some good inspiration out there in some of these baskets. But that was all. Let's wrap it up then, Kun.
All right. Well, I do have one question which I saw. Does the dividend theme return include the dividend payouts? That's one of the comments we'll definitely work on. As of now, you don't see the dividend payouts in the list of the dividend growth theme. That's something that's in the works. There will add an extra column with the payouts of each of those stocks. What else? I'm just looking if we have more questions to respond to. Yeah, why a theme above an ETF? Well, teams are usually, as you'll see, only 8 to 10 securities in each team. That makes it much more easier to have an overview of. What else could there be said about that? There's a better cost transparency, of course. We're more focused towards those specific companies, which makes it also easier for you people if you say, okay, let's just have a look at, for example, the artificial intelligence. There we have 8 companies: TSMC, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Equinix, ASML, Applied, Alphabet, and AMD. You could say, yeah, I like 7 of them, but one of them, just saying something, Alphabet I don't like. Well, you have a better overview of what is inside that team, and you're free to choose another stock if you say, yeah, that specific one, I don't like that one, I'll just replace it, and you're completely free. If you have an ETF, you're bound to the ETF, and there's no choice actually. So yeah, I think that's quite important to mention.
Cool. Thank you for that. And then I think it's just to say again in the end, I can also see some Tanya saying there's missing a water theme. Yes, it is a evolving area. So we, as I said, we will do reviews ongoing. So maybe there will be new themes added. Maybe some will be changed. But that's something we review on an ongoing basis. So this is not maybe how it looks in 1 year, but this is how it's we are starting out. But cool. Thanks everyone for joining this afternoon. And yeah, slides should be available. Otherwise, I will wish you happy trading, and yeah, hopefully markets will recover a bit soon and more calm trading environment. But until that, thanks for joining.
As a final note, you could say, is it because that's a question that everybody has on its mind? Is it a good time to buy or to get in? That's an answer I won't give. But the fact is, and that's not advice, the fact is the markets are down a lot. So there's, how do you call it, discount. If it's the end of it, that's a complete other discussion I won't talk about. So good luck, everybody.
With that said, have a nice afternoon. Goodbye.